it's Shawnee. Welcome back. Guess what time it is? It hasn't been this time in a long time. It is time for our weekly roundup where I go over all of the eyeshadow palettes I used over the past week or two, and I rank them from least liked to most liked. Typically, I like all of the palettes and the looks, but I just like some more than others. Now this week we have 14 slots. That's a lot, so we're gonna jump in real soon. And we have two palettes that are used multiple times, and then there's one palette that I am giving to someone else. So this is the last time you're gonna see it here. All right, so 14 palettes. Let's start with number 14. That is Blend Bunny Cosmetics, the Dollhouse palette. Now this palette, I would say, is the one from Blend Bunny that I reach for the least. The colors are a bit more muted. This second row here doesn't really work too well on my skin tone, just because I'm darker skin. Now, if you have a lighter skin tone, you'll probably have a better time with it, but they're just pretty ashy on me. With that being said, I still think it's a pretty palette. The shades are just a bit more muted than I would typically like, or that I typically like. I stuck with some of these like green shades over here for the look that I did in my most recent news video, and it was okay. It was all right. I didn't enjoy it as much as some of the other looks I did throughout the weeks, so that's what puts it at number 14. Let me know if you have this palette. It's not my fave Blend Bunny. I have several Blend Bunny palettes, and I would say this one just lands a little lower than all the other ones. At number 13, we have two palettes. The first one is the Gothic palette from Cosmic Beauty. More recently called Cosmic Brushes. They just changed the name. Now this is their smallest palette as of now. It has 12 shades, while their other palettes tend to have more. And this is very much a purple palette. So if you don't like purple, don't get this palette. You're pretty much gonna get a purple look with this, and because of that, I've been enjoying using it as a complementary palette. Now, I have used it on its own to create looks, but also I think it adds a little something to other palettes that you might have. This time, for this look, I combined it with the Bordeaux Bliss palette from McGrath. Now this has a more mauve kind of color story. There are 5 shades. I really enjoyed the quints that she comes out with, and I really hope that she comes out with more. For me, these are so easy to take to work, and because they're like cardboard, there's a specific color story. I think they're just very portable and very easy to use. Usually everything works well in these palettes. The shimmers are fine, the matte's fine, everything's good. There's also a little mirror that is very helpful. Let me hold up both of these so you can see kind of like my thought process in using them in conjunction to one another. So I just feel like this goes together really well, you know? Like I think they just complement each other, play off of each other, and even though this palette has like 1 or 2 deeper shades, I really wanted the more significant depth that you can get from the Gothic palette. Now, number 12, I really feel like I'm in my neutral makeup, natural makeup era, as I have like a sunset on my eyes. But this look was really simple, and I used, I think, 2 shades, and the palette I use is the Viseart Neutral Mattes palette. Literally just the matte palette. Interestingly enough, this is the one palette I took to do my makeup when I did my more recent like business photos. I think I kind of want to do another set of photos. We'll think about it. I used this shade, and then I used this shade, and that was it. So this was very much like a brown neutral look, and I've been really enjoying those looks as of late. And also this was all matte. There was no shimmer in sight. Now I do like Viseart mattes, but I don't think you need to spend Viseart money to get matte shadows. Those matte shadows or shades. These are rather expensive. I've always waited for a sale. Now what I really appreciate is they don't have the bulky packaging anymore. It's much more streamlined, and you can also take the shades out because they are in magnetic pans. The other thing is they also now have petite palettes, so rather than getting these larger pans, you just have a smaller palette essentially, that is also less expensive. But again, I would really suggest, if you must get a Viseart palette, wait for a sale, and if you can, get a petite. Unless if you use all of these colors just like this is all you use, then it could be a good idea to get the larger one, but I don't know that you are. And I would still say that there are other brands that are less expensive that you can get a few of these brown mattes from. One place that I like getting single shades from is Sydney Grace. I think their matte shades are really good, and especially if you're only getting a couple, not as expensive as getting an entire palette, and you can always wait for a sale then too. But I really liked this, and I think I'm going to be doing more matte looks and more just like simple, everyday, neutral, natural looks. Okay. Number 11 is the look I did with the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. Now this is one of her larger palettes. Duh. I like this palette. I like Sunset and Sunrise, and this is just a fun one for me. Anytime I'm thinking of like warm foliage, fall kind of stuff, I'm often going to this one or Sunrise, which is the midi size. Nothing outstanding about it, just your warm tones, warm orange and red tones. The shimmers are very pretty. So there's this one, this one, this one. Just very pretty, right? I am getting some use out of it. You can see that there are some like dips in several of the shades. So it's one that I've had for a while. It'll probably be on its way out maybe at the end of this year. It's still performing pretty well. I have to look and see what my notes say as to when I got it, but it's definitely one that I've had for a while. But I think it's still holding strong. It's still holding strong. So that look for me was another simple one, just with a bit more color. The next one, number 10, is the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 2 palette. So this is the one that has the rosy tones. Now, I have been really trying to love me some Patrick Ta, the brand. I tried, I believe, 3 of the blushes, and I was like, they're okay. And then I didn't buy any of the palettes until this one. So there's the first one, then there's this one, and then there's the all matte one that they recently came out with. So these palettes have shimmers and mattes, and then they have 2 cream shadows at the end, or 2 cream shades. I don't know. I enjoy these little cream things. They're really cute. They're a lot more pigmented than I expected, and the palette is just like okay, like it's a pretty rose toned palette, and yeah. I don't think, again, this is one that there's like, I'm not gonna shout from the rooftops that I love it. I think the packaging is so pretty. Besides the fingerprints you're gonna get on it, like that rose gold kind of look to it. It's very sleek. I did a video where I did a comparison of this palette and one of the Charlotte Tilbury palettes, the Pillow Talk palette, and I did a look on one eye with one palette and a look on the other eye with the other palette, and they were pretty super duper similar. There were a couple of differences. I think I actually ended up liking the Charlotte Tilbury one just a bit more. Now, I think it's still a fine palette, like, especially if you want a more just like ethereal, pretty look. I feel like most of the things I've been talking about are giving you more of the softer look. So it's a palette I'm definitely going to keep using. I don't know that it's going to last in my rotation for super long, but it's not going anywhere just yet. Number 9. Now that is the other 5-pan Bijou Brilliance eyeshadow palette from Pat McGrath, and this one is Sunset Romance. Again, very much a like pink mauve color story, and you get another soft look. I guess that's what I was feeling lately. Now with this one, if I'm comparing this one to Bordeaux Bliss, I would say I think I like Bordeaux Bliss more. If you look at them, the Sunset Romance is just lighter in terms of color story, and you don't get, for me, you don't get the depth that you can get with the Bordeaux Bliss. But once I saw the look that I did, this is the look that I had on at work when I went into the office this week. I was like, wow, that's really pretty. So I feel like I've said that about a lot of the looks that I've talked about. It's just really pretty. Now, number 8 goes back to Bordeaux Bliss. So I used this more than once. I actually used it more than twice also, but for looks that I actually took pictures of and stuff, and in my roundup, I use it twice. So again, really like it. This look was maybe the second one I did with this palette. And I enjoy all of the shades. Initially, when I picked up the palette, I thought that it was all shimmer, but come to find out, I think it's this shade here, which is Mauve Mystique. It's a matte with some shimmer in it. Or is that this one? I don't know, child. But I was really surprised by the different textures, I guess. Here's the black. It has like some shimmers in it. Here's that mauve. Look at that, like it's so much more vibrant, right? And then here are the shimmers. So this, I don't even know if I put the right ones on there. Yeah, but this is the palette, and I really like it. It might be, out of the 4 5-pan palettes I have from the brand, this one might be my favorite one. I think so. I think so. So it made a second appearance in the roundup. Now, number 7 is the Surge palette from Blend Bunny. So they made it a few times in the roundup. Now, when I'm talking about the vibrancy of the shades, like this is what I like. Let's compare it to the Dollhouse, so you can also see like which one is more your vibe. So, look at that. Like, this is more, like, this is softer, muted, and then this is like, boom, give it to me, right? That's what I think. And actually, this palette is the one that I have on my eyes, on mis ojos today. So basically I used this shimmer here, Grunge, and then I used, no, I'm sorry, this is Zip It Up. This shade is Grunge, I used that, and this shade is Juicy, I used that. So I just used 3 shades here, and essentially you can also just use Zip It Up and Grunge, but I wanted like a lighter shade in the inner corner. So this was super easy, but I think it's like, it's still boom pow. Like, you look at me and you see sunset, right? Or sunrise, whatever. But that is the kind of look I really enjoy doing with like golds and oranges. I like combining them with reds just to give that like fall foliage, sunsetty sunrise kind of look. So this is actually the first Blend Bunny palette I ever purchased, and then after that I just fell in head first. And yeah, I think that's what puts it at number 7, just because I love the colors. I love how vibrant they are. I love that lower row of neons. Now I believe in black light, under black light, these like light up, but I don't go nowhere with black light, so I haven't had that experience just yet, but that is at number 7. Now number 6 is actually a look I did to do like a copy kitty video with my friend Jan Van. Now that was 2 single shadows, That's it. The first shadow that I use is from Sydney Grace, and it is the shade Keep Smiling. And then I basically just topped that with this shade here called Rose Goals from JD Glow. Now, initially, JD Glow shades or pans are super big, but I didn't like that in terms of having stuff in my collection. So I actually, I guess, destroyed it and put it or repotted it into a smaller the 26 millimeter pans, and this is just a lot better for me. And then I just put a label on the back. So this shade is Rose Goals, and I paired it with Sydney Grace Keep Smiling and came up with a very like boom pow look. Like, it's a little mesmerizing. So yeah, use your singles. All right, now we are on to the top 5. At number 5, we have yet another Cosmic Beauty palette, and it is their most recent, the Winter Wonderland palette. This palette is so pretty. Now, I often say, oh, I don't know about greens, I don't know about blues. I love the greens and blues in here. 'Cause these are like what? That's like teal. There's purple. The shimmers are like multi-chromy, like wet. And some of them have like this wet feeling to them. Look, come on. I nearly just passed out. Like, look at that. Oh, Lord have mercy. Look at that blue. Look, oh, this one is, honestly, I mean, this, like, listen, this is pretty. Like, I loved the look I did with this palette. I thought it was just really pretty. It's just pretty. I really liked it. And now I'm like, snap, I think I liked this a little bit more than some of the other ones on this list. Oh well. But it's still in top 5, and I'm telling you, I use my Cosmic Beauty palettes a lot, especially if I want a colorful look, period. Like, especially if I want a colorful look. I just really enjoy their palettes. The only thing about Cosmic Beauty / Cosmic brushes is that they sell out on their releases so fast. It causes me anxiety. Like, I feel like I might have to take gabapentin before every release that they have, because it's just like that. And then it takes a while for the restock. Typically, if a brand was like that, I'd be like, you know, whatever. I'm just not even gonna worry about it. But I really like every palette that I've gotten from them. So I guess I'm gonna keep just like getting anxious before releases and just praying. I don't know, but yes, this is a lovely, lovely palette. I would say this and Gothic, so they're essentially their last 2 releases, have more of a concentrated color story. I feel like the other palettes, well, maybe Royal Rose does as well, but there's more of a mixture of shades rather than just focusing on 1 or 2 colors. Number 4 is good old Natasha Denona. So she's made it a couple times in this roundup as well. I used the retro palette, and again, I think I used like 2 shades just to do a really simple, like neutral matte look. So that's why I'm saying I'm really on my matte moment. And that's why I really liked it. Now, the difference between this look and the one I did with the Viseart palette is that this one had a bit more of a mauve undertone. The retro palette and the My Dream palette are 2 of the brand's palettes that I really enjoy within their last, like, what, 5 releases. So I would say that out of the more recent releases, this one and My Dream are the ones I use the most. So yeah, this was really simple, really easy, and I surprised myself because typically I'm throwing on a shimmer, and I didn't. I just did like 2 shades. Who am I? All right, top 3. In number 3, we have the Glaminatrix Nocturnal palette. Now, when you look at this palette, you're like, that's not my kind of palette, right? I just talked about all 12,000 mauve toned palettes that I have. So I even surprised myself when I got this palette, and let me tell you, this palette is amazing. It is so pretty. I was actually immediately attracted to it for some reason. And it's worked out well, because that doesn't always, right? And I just think you can do so many different types of looks with this palette. Like, you can have more of a lighter, kind of ethereal thing going on, all the way over to like grungier, darker looks. So I've really been enjoying it, and I don't remember... Oh, you know why I used this one? Because my friend, Jan Van, she used it on her channel, and I was like, I'm gonna use mine too. And the thing with that is that I received 2 of these somehow. I don't know if I pressed pay twice. I don't know what I did, but rather than sending it back in like internationally, I just gave it to Jan. So yeah, so we both have it and both use it. And if you want to see some awesome looks, head over to her channel and check those out. And I forgot to mention that the reason I pulled out my Blend Bunny Surge palette was because my girl Nikki Lynn used that palette in her recent video. So I do like to take inspiration from my friends. But I really, really enjoyed using this palette and the look that I came up with, using it. Especially the multi-chromes. Like, I'm just telling you. Oh, look at that. I mean, if I could just like, can I just like wear multi-chromes just like daily? Like, I'm gonna do it, okay? Gonna do it. And this one is actually one of my favorites. It's just so pretty. Ugh. So yes, loving this palette. I have quite a few from Glaminatrix. I don't think I got their, I haven't gotten their like last couple, maybe last 2 releases, I think. But other than that, I have all the other ones. All right, number 2. Now we have a re-emergence of the Gothic palette from Cosmic Beauty, and I paired that with the Fantasia palette from Divina Cosmetics. Now this is their first like curated palette. Usually they have like bundles of singles or just singles by themselves. This one has 4 matte shades. Those like anchor the palette at the corners, and then you have 5 shimmers in the middle. Now this is not my favorite. This is not my favorite palette. I love the look, but I think I love the look a lot because of pairing it with Cosmic brushes and because of using the shimmers. Because the mattes are just, they're too light for my skin tone. I need something that, like if they had this one, and then like 2 more that were deeper or something, but even these are kind of close. Like the mattes just don't work well for me with the shimmers. I tend to like Divina's shimmers. They can be a bit chunkier, which gets a little annoying for me, but in general, they are just so booming, you know? So this is actually the palette that is leaving us. It is going to a good friend who I think is going to really enjoy it, especially because she is of a lighter skin tone than me, and so I think these are just going to show up so amazingly well on her. If not for the mattes, then I think she's going to love the shimmers. So I don't really want to get all in it and put my grubby hands on it anymore. But yes, it's leaving. It's going bye-bye, but it is going to a special place where it will be taken care of, and I have tons more Divina shades that I can use. So if I'm not really going to use this one, why hold on to it? Now, number 1. I don't know if you're gonna be surprised or not. Okay, so let me talk about it. Number 1 is again an all matte look, and guess what I used for it? This is something I like use daily. You already know. It's the palette from my cousin Danessa Myricks, the Groundwork palette. Listen, y'all, guys, gals, theys, them, listen, I love this palette. I love it. I feel like it just smells like amazingness. It smells like entrepreneurial spirit. It smells like innovation. You know what I mean? Like I mean, y'all, I love this palette so hard. I love it. I love it so hard. I can't love it even more. I don't think I can. It's just amazing. Now my anxiety is a little high because I haven't heard her say anything about coming out with the refillables, okay? The other thing I was thinking, this just came to me today. What if she not only gets like refillables of these shades, but what if she adds shades? Like, what if she added like color, like, child, but I guess that wouldn't be groundwork then, right? Because this is just like your staple, everything you need palette, in my opinion. Because for me, I can use this shade here, Core, as a corrector. Also, I've used it as an eyeshadow. I can use Harvest as a bronzer, also use it as an eyeshadow. I can use Bark as a contour, also use it as an eyeshadow. I can use Tourmaline as a liner and an eyeshadow. Sculpted, I tend to use for my brows. Mirage, I've used... Look, right here. Mirage I've used as an eyeshadow. Even a bit of like concealer on top of Core. This is just like, I'm not even mad that I don't get use out of some of the shades, you know, and mainly like this one here, this one, they're a little cooler than is within my comfort zone, but I've still used them. And this one here I've mainly used as a primer for eyeshadow just because it's super duper light. So the look, I feel like this look that I did is so simple, but it is so sexy, okay? Like, you agree, right? You totes agree. What I really enjoy is just like the simplicity of the look with the red lips. Like I was serving actual entrees, okay? So I did this look for the Mariah Carey Christmas concert, and then I redid it to show you all how I put it all together. I don't know. I think that look is what has gotten me into this like natural, all matte kind of simplicity of it all look. And then especially with maybe like a bolder lip, just I was giving all kinds of sexiness. Honestly, it's also because of the whole outfit I wore to Miss Mariah. Have you seen the red boots? Have you seen the like knee-high red boots with the leather pants, faux leather, and the red sweater, and then the hair up with the red lip and Danessa on the eye? Go check out this look on my Instagram, okay? It's fire. I mean, if you don't hype yourself up, who else is gonna do it, okay? So this is number one. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this out of the roundups because it's just, it's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think this is the palette that I will continue to get the most use out of in terms of when I do those very simple looks, because it's just so easy. But also what I've done a lot of times is I've popped these out because they're magnetic and put them into my kit pack, like magnetic palettes, and taking it with me if I'm going somewhere so that I'm able to have everything in one place. I've got my corrector, I've got my brow stuff, bronzer, contour, eyeliner, and it takes up so little space. Like the packaging of the palette itself, it's big and bulky, but you can take these out and they fit amazingly well and don't take up any space. I think that is it. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So me and Jilsa, my bestie, we're going to go see Danessa Myricks. Oh my God. Oh my God. Calm down. So I feel like Danessa is on the level of Kelly Clarkson for me. Like that I'll just, if I come face to face with them, I don't know. I think I'll black out. And then I'll be pissed because I blacked out and like passed out, and then I wouldn't have had a chance to converse with them. So me and Jessica, girl, We are going to go see Miss Danessa, my cousin. I'll talk more about it when it's coming up. Jessa has already looked at the ticket. She already looked at the hotel. She already looked at my ticket. Oh my God. Y'all. What? Oh my God. If Danessa looks at me, I'll be good to go. I'll be good to go. Then all I would have to do next is find Kelly for her to look at me too. And I'm good. I'm good, okay? You don't need to give me a birthday present. Oh, I'm so excited. There are so many things I have to get through before that, but oh, it's something to look forward to. I'm so excited. Ah! Okay, anyway, I'm trying to calm down. Because we've been talking about it for like a year. Like, girl, we got to go see Miss Danessa. Girl, we got to go, like, find her. When's she going to be near you or me or anywhere that we can travel to? So I'm excited. I'm excited. Okay, I got to stop, or else I can go on forever. Okay. I think that's it. I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. I'm excited to get these weekly roundups back and going. There was like the Mariah Carey concert, so I missed 1 week, and then I've been sick for several weeks. The flu has like beat the hell out of me, and I'm just now starting to feel better. So I just haven't been able to, you know, muster up the energy to do a weekly roundup. But I'm back. I'm back. I was already better, so I'm just like, I'm not back and better. I'm just back. Okay, let me know what you have been using more recently, what palettes, what singles, if you have any suggestions of things I might like, if you have any, like, if you'd like me to use a certain palette, let me know, or do a color story, let me know that too. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.